more on the impact to consumers, foreign consumers, for example. You mentioned a little bit about how wealth is created when you move away from a surplus, and also how protectionism, and then I think we heard also how the price of dairy to consumers with protectionism is much higher. Could you elaborate more on that?
Sure. I'll give you an example. In Colombia, they have almost no feed grains, and so therefore pork production is extremely expensive, and people in Colombia can literally not afford to eat pork. However, we now have a free trade agreement with them, and their per capita pork consumption is skyrocketing. They literally have access to something they didn't have before. I've been in supermarkets in Korea and seen pork selling at 4 or 5 times the U.S. price. When those consumers eventually get access to our product, they will benefit from having a much more affordable product, and in that sense, their wealth grows.
Excuse me. Are there any examples of where consumers, perhaps in Japan, because Japan is such a central point of discussion here this morning with protectionism, do Japanese consumers benefit from any of their protectionism? Can anyone point to such a thing?
Well, I'll take a stab at it. They believe that they have food self-security because of protectionism. But as I mentioned, they're importing all their animal feed, so it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Anyone else? Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, I would just say that they import a tremendous amount, as Dr. Hayes said. They import a tremendous amount of their product, and there's a very small percentage of the population that are actually ag producers there. So it's they're very protectionist.
Mr. Stewart?
Just to address the food security issue, because it has been a big issue in Japan and a number of other countries. If you go back to 2007, 2008, grain prices, rice prices went up 200%, 300%, 400% because there ended up being a few shortages, and I think it was 35 or 40 countries imposed export restraints on key agricultural products, including rice, including wheat, including a number of other products. If you are an import-dependent country like Japan, right now the international trading system doesn't guarantee them access to food supplies. Every country has a right to restrict exports if they perceive it to be in their national interest. That is a legitimate issue. Whether it drives the high tariffs and other things, I would say probably not. That's largely political. But that is an issue that the overall trading system is not addressing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman. The gentleman from Oregon is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr.